Greetings, YouTube! I am Paladin Knight Saint Archavangeclies Avidius Esquire IV, Duke of Valian and Defender of the 9 Divine Realms, at your service. Today, I am here to tell you my story on how I banished the Demogorgon with my companions in Dawn Patrol. It all started in Valian. I had made my pledge to become a paladin of the great god Bahamut, and in my pledge, my new task was to travel to the Underdark, a land of the Drow, and purge the land of vile darkness that was leaking into the world from below. So I set out, alone and unafraid, to complete the insurmountable task bestowed by God. But a thought occurred to me. I didn't know how to get to the Underdark. But the answer was simple, of course. Just get captured by the Drow and they would take me there. Getting found by the Drow was much easier than I expected. All I had to do was rock around the night and proclaim, "I am here!" Ha 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 ha. And soon enough I was found. I was taken to a small prison in a place called Velkendelv. I was acquainted with the other prisoners there. There was a fearsome black dragonborn named Balzar, a roguish-looking tiefling named Arcos, a bizarre gnome, Turtlebrat. There was a John of Rodin, a quiet warlock who escapes most of my memory, and the others, well, never mind them at the moment. It was quickly clear that I was here, and now I needed to escape here, but I had a plan. In passing bets, I had bet Arcos a week of servitude that I could get us out in one day, and as the Duke of Valian, I always deliver on my promises. Our group of the likeliest unlikely band of misfits devised a way to obtain our gear by bartering with a demoted guard. We broke out and escaped down a waterfall. The days thereafter consisted of Arco shining my boots and a constant travel and staying vigilant for the Drow hot on our heels. A fishman was our guide, taking us to the Dark Lake. But on the way, I made my most fateful encounter of the whole journey. We came upon the tomb of Khim, where after fights with undead, I was united with the legendary blade, Dawnbringer. I had chosen to free her, and in turn she had chosen me as her vassal. With her, I became nigh unbeatable. After the tomb, we carried on to the Dark Lake, where we were promptly greeted by heretic fishmen who assailed our party. I was unfortunately defeated in that battle, for the numbers were too many. Too great. Nonetheless, the party carried me onwards to the city of Slubladup. There was a religious uprising happening there that was interrupted and violently ended by the worst and most vile being I had ever laid my own eyes upon. Demogorgon, the foul demon lord himself, rose out of the lake to destroy us all. I vowed in a glorious chant that I would be the one to slay him, and then promptly ran away with valor. We sailed away on the Dark Lake to avoid the impending doom of Slubladup. Our next destination was Gracklstugh, a gnomish city, if I recall, where Turtlebrat had hailed from. Yes, there we were once again caught up in the affairs of the city. Naturally, we came away unscathed, but our time with Turtlebrat and John of Rodin had passed as they moved to the next objective, unbeknownst to me. Then a small mushroom man named Stool guided us from Gracklstugh to a place called Neverlight Grove. It's hard to describe just how much fungus there was. I mean, I'm a fun guy, but it was a bit much. There was a wedding there, believe it or not. I guess mushrooms aren't as polyamorous as I assumed. Past Neverlight was a Bling stone. Blingden stone, where we were asked to save a place of worship and magic from a vile Medusa-like monstrosity. Our party was bestowed with enchantments for our bravery. Not to stand on ceremony, but Blingden Stone was in grave danger of many slimes attacking. So of course we went against what the locals called the Pudding Court. Misleading name, I tell you. Not a spoonful of pudding anywhere, just slimes. Imagine my disappointment when I saw the corrosive moving acid instead of pudding. They paid for the price of their lies, I assure you. Yet another city saved by us. Who were we, though? We asked ourselves. It was only clear that with Dawnbringer by my side, that we should name ourselves Dawn Patrol. We fight for the light, and even though the night is darkest before dawn, the sun will always rise to banish shadow. It was time to leave the Underdark for a time, to gain allies against the darkness that I was witness to. Balzar departed from us, and Arcos left as well, to the misfortune of all my unpolished armor. But we met a furbolg named Kumo, and a human named Tarax, a small kobold named Roscoe, and a drow whom we all greeted with, "Ah, a drow!" and they accompanied us. The drow's name was Brenceris, and she was a member of faith like myself. So we all returned to Valian, and to my surprise, the entire city had fallen to corruption while I was away. Turtlebrot and John were secretly followers of Orcus, and had plagued the catacombs of my church with undead. For that, they had to pay with their lives, those villains. The last thing Turtlebrot ever saw was a fireball thrown from Bren's necklace. We restored order, as it should have been. I had Kumo slay the man in command, my very own sire, who had been a family friend for a long time. I may have forgiven him, but truth and justice would not. We gained our allies in Gauntlgrim and Manteldareth. We fought and killed a beholder named Zazax, the Eyemonger. Not one for conversation, that one. We made his home our base. Then we traveled to a library where we could see things all throughout time. It was quite impressive, for I met a few beings from the future and the past. I learned quite a bit about the present and the future there. We encountered Grost, who was another demon lord at the library. Whether he was in the past or the future, I still do not know. We also met another drow there named Vizaran, who also greeted our own Brenceris with, "Ah, a drow." Vizaran had a plot to defeat the demon lords by summoning them all in one place so they would all murder each other. But to do so, we needed components. So we went to collect purple worm eggs and another beholder eye. Trivial things in the end, really. We wound up in a maze, though. And in that maze was a thing called the maze engine. And this engine had several magical properties upon activation, you see. And the effect that happened to me was astounding. I alone was sent into the past to the very first day of captivity back in Velkendelv, but I did have all of my equipment, of course. Everyone else in that point of time had no recollection of me, other than their visits in Valian. So I had a new quest, save Valian before evil corrupted it to begin with, and then join the others who sparsely remembered me to kill the demon lords. Months go by and we reunite for the final battle. The others had already collected what was left for the ritual. All the lords were pulled then together in a massive battle to the death, as we focused on killing most of the grunts until only the Demogorgon remained. I enchanted myself with all my capabilities and spells while my team fended him off, though seemingly to no avail. He was too strong, even for the combined might of Dawn Patrol. But I had vowed to slay that beast, and that I would, and when I had flown up to him, I tore him asunder with 3 mighty blows, and the beast was done. It was a total of over 260 damage, if anybody was curious. And the beast was done. We then decided to go our own ways, concluding that mighty battle. 10 years have gone by, and I've assisted some greenhorns with killing perhaps the most powerful lich I've ever seen. But now, I have no idea where I am! Wait, something's coming from the shadows. Got to go.